Good morning and welcome back, everybody. I am Mark Thompson. This is Alteryx Tutorials. In this session, we're going to be talking about weekly challenge number 70. I had a request from a connection out on LinkedIn to talk about GeoSpatial, so I went out and found one of my fundamental challenges that talks about GeoSpatial, so that's what we're going to be into today. Let's get to it. What we have is we have a business and they've got 3 satellite offices and they would like to identify a central point that is equidistant from the 3 satellite offices with a 30-minute drive time. Now I used 30 miles, but 30 miles or 30 minutes, the process is still the same. So let's take a look at what we have. We start out with this piece of data where we've got the 3 satellite offices. And we want to turn that into this, where it's an intersection of the 3. All right? And we've got the center point. Let's talk about how we get there. In these 3 records, we have the lat and the long. That is the important piece to know here. The first thing we do is we grab this tool, and this comes from the GeoSpatial menu. Over here, create points. Learn the create points. It's probably the single most used GeoSpatial tool you've got. And so the first thing that we want to do is say, okay, give me a point for each of those. So we put and we map in the field, the X and the Y, the long and the lat, and it turns and gives us a point. Now, I've put these 3 browse tools down here. You don't really need them for the finished product, but for working through and creating, it's great. So I will help to visualize and show you what we've got. So at the end, it comes out here. So in the incoming anchor, we've got that bit of data. On the outgoing anchor, we add that centroid. When we come down here, what the browse tool allows is there's this map. So we can see there's point 1, point 2, point 3. We've got our 3 points. Okay. The next thing we want to do is create what's known as a trade area. So the trade area, and I'll go to that tool now. Notice how we now add this on. We had the centroid. Now we have a trade area. A trade area is effectively a circle around a centroid. So we tell it what we want, and yes, you can do trade areas around things other than centroids, but for this exercise, it's a centroid, and we're telling it 30. 30 what? Now, the challenge says drive time, but many of you may not have the data available, the distance data. And so I'm just using radius miles because everybody can do that. And what you get, and again, I'm using the browse tool so that you can see it visually, is you get 3 circles, or one around a 30-mile circle around each one of those 3 points. And this is what it looks like. This is 30 miles around this point, this, and this. And just on the fly, right here and now, I'm just thinking of doing this. I'm going to grab the filter, and I'm going to say site does not equal 2. So I'm going to get rid of one of these. And then if I run it, I want to show you what we've got. And now there's only 2 circles, right? 2 trade areas, one around each of those centroids. Let me pause for a moment and talk about GeoSpatial. GeoSpatial has 3 types of data. They have points, that's the centroid. It's a single location, a lat and a long. You have a line, which is exactly like it sounds. You have a series of centroids that create a line. And then finally, you have a polygon, which is an enclosed space. It could be circles. It could be odd shapes. It could be all kinds of things. So GeoSpatial, points, lines, polygons. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this filter, and I'm going to right-click and showing you a trick here. Deletes and connect around. Super convenient. Boom. Filter is now gone. I rerun it. And I'm back to what my original information had, which is these three. Now, the next step in the process is we're going to use the Summarize tool. Yes, the Summarize tool can be leveraged for GeoSpatial. This is an important piece of information to know. And there are different types of GeoSpatial activities that the Summarize tool can do. So right now we're dealing with the spatial object, those trade areas, and it even says it, trade area. And in this case, we're creating an intersection. So where do those three objects intersect, right? And when you come down here, let's look at the browse tool once again, you can see that's where they intersect. Now, I could change this. I could actually tell it what is, let me combine all of these. I'm going to combine all three of these geospatials and ignore that for a moment. It thinks it's looking for something else. I run this, and now this is what a combined spatial looks like. It's taking all three of those trade areas and combining them. However, for this exercise, I want the intersection of those three, so I'm going to go back to that, run it, click in there, hit run. Now, the final tool is right here. And what are the pieces of information? They want to know what is the center and find the area. So this is the information from this GeoSpatial. So we're in the GeoSpatial, and I come up here and I get spatial information. And in this case, I want to know the area in square miles. And I also want a centroid, the center, geographic center of that intersection. So when I do that, here is my result. And I've got that center, I've got the intersection of those three, and I've got the area in square miles. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Again, Mark Thompson, Watermark Data. Please hit like, please hit share, let all your friends know about it. And of course, as always, I welcome your comments. Until next time, we will see you. Have a great day.